Kenya.
Kongoi Missing, Emily Chebet, thank you very much from Longisa. This is Bombers of Kenya, and I'm still with Joshua Kiptoa. He's a lawyer, and I'm also with His Excellency Mulatu Teshome. He's the team leader of the IGAD Observer Mission right here in Kenya for the general election that was conducted yesterday. And he's here so that he can get us a view of what they were able to observe as a team and together with other observers. And so far, what they make of the general election that was conducted yesterday. Welcome, Your Excellency. Karibu Nairobi.
Thank you.
Have they taught you a bit of Kiswahili?
Yes, they taught me, but...
Karibu sana.
Karibu.
Yeah. What do you make of the general election so far from the various polling stations and counties that you were able to visit yesterday?
Yeah, well, my observation to the Kenyan general election 2022 is the election was peaceful, very calm and orderly, because people had some doubts of the environment during the election times. What I observed this time around is very orderly, peaceful. People, making queues in a very orderly way. And before the election, on the eve of the election, we also went to the material distribution center, the upper hill. People were waiting, especially the election agents and the people who are in charge of the distribution of election materials. Mm-hmm. Too many of them were waiting to take the materials, and everybody was waiting peacefully and in a very disciplined manner. That really made me very happy, because what the Kenyan election is not only for Kenya, it is for our region, for IGAD, all IGAD member countries. The successful completion of Kenyan election, especially in a very peaceful environment, is going to be a reference point for the rest of us in IGAD to learn from the election processes. It was, as far as I see, the Kenyan people were very much aware of what they are going to mm-hmm. do. The consciousness level and the democratic enthusiasm, and especially from people who were at the polling stations, who were guiding and explaining things to what we were asking. Very enlightened, according to the AIBC's instructions and mm-hmm. the code of conduct elaborated in every manner.
You say this election is not only important for Kenya and Kenyans, but also for the region.
Absolutely.
Are there specific lessons that you are able to draw immediately that you can pinpoint, that you can refer to other countries in the region that will be conducting their elections anytime soon?
Very important one is the preparedness which we observed from the EIBC, the election independent election and boundary commission, well prepared. And if the IEBC was not as such prepared, was not giving the steps and procedures in line, it might not have been as beautiful as it was yesterday. So one thing is what member countries of IGAD has to emulate is really to have a strong electoral institution. Mm-hmm. That is very important. The rules, of course, the constitution of each country is different from each other. It differs, but somehow, as far as we all share the universal values about democracy and about the elections every 4 years, every 5 years, And since it is a universal norm, it is better to have a strong electoral institution like IEBC.
Other than the many good things that probably you were able to identify together with the observation team, are there challenges that were obvious that probably need to be fixed as the country prepares for another general election in 2027, and also similar lessons that you can refer to other electoral commissions in the region and beyond?
Yeah, we will make our observation statements or the preliminary assessment report. Before that, I'm not going to preempt that assessment report, but in that, definitely, we are going to pinpoint if there is any the areas where to be corrected, areas to be looked into, and to advise not only the Kenyan electoral institutions, but also our region, the IGAD region, and beyond, to have such strong institutions, which is very important to prepare and conduct a peaceful electoral process.
Finally, any election, some of the key principles, basic principles, would include free, fairness, credibility, verifiability. Would you say, without necessarily preempting too many of the details that you say are in the assessment team, would you term this election that was conducted yesterday and whose results continue to trickle in as having met those principles of a good election?
The very basic prerequisite for a peaceful, for a credible, free, fair election is to have a peaceful environment. What we observed is there was a peaceful environment. In that peaceful environment, there is a big probability that the election was credible. The election is, to the expectation of the Kenyan people. There was, from what all of us observed, even the media, it was quite peaceful, and it is to the satisfaction of all of us, all international election observers, and I guess all Kenyans are happy about it. So I have to congratulate you in this regard for the peaceful conclusion.
Thank you. Joshua is also here, and probably he would have a question or two to pose to you.
Maybe the only thing I would want to post is, as international observers, how much access are you given to be able to observe every aspect of our process? And importantly, will you make your reports and findings public, not just for the consumption of IGAD and the rest, but also for the country and Kenyans, so that the main benefactor of lessons learned from an observer is the participant, in this case being Kenyans themselves?
Of course, the preliminary assessment report, which we are going to maybe disclose in the coming days, tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, is to address the stakeholder.
Okay.
That is the Kenyan electoral institutions and Kenyan people. Okay? And what we are saying is, but since this exercise goes beyond Kenya, we also indicate that if a free, fair and transparent, credible election is to be conducted, the peaceful environment is prerequisite. This we are going to amplify.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, and karibu tena again in Nairobi in Kenya.
Thank you.
Former President of Ethiopia, Mulatu Teshome, who is leading the IGAD observation team in monitoring this election that was conducted yesterday. And the results continue to trickle in from various polling centers, from various constituency tallying centers. And we continue to give you our numbers as we receive them. And the tallying center at Royal Media Service is also working. We continue to stream the numbers as we receive them, as we tabulate, as we tally the numbers. And this is the place to be. From Bomas of Kenya back to Communication Center, Rashidi, Lulu, Jeff, and of course, Lillian. Back to you.
Okay.
For that, Francis Gashuri. Francis Gashuri has been